Hello everyone, this is Israr Khan, Group CEO of Brahma Corp. Delighted to meet you again. Hope you are keeping well. Today I like you to take you through my thoughts on the concept of consistency in life. जब तक तोड़ूंगा नहीं तब तक छोड़ूंगा नहीं. You must have heard this dialogue somewhere. 22 years, 360 feet long, 30 feet wide, 25 feet deep. That was the road created by breaking the mountain. And who is that man? We all know our mountain man, we fondly call him the late Dasrath Maji. As the story goes behind, that his wife Faguni, or by fondly he used to call Fagunia, slipped from that mountain and ultimately she died. And he was hurt so much by the death of her beloved wife that he decided to break that mountain. And what he had, just one hammer and chisel. So when a person commits on anything with determination, dedication, even the adverse circumstances and surroundings cannot stop that person. That's what the Dasarath Maji proved all of us. You can attain or achieve unimaginable results out of your consistent efforts. 22 years without any break, he kept trying, and ultimately what we see results is before us. Sometimes people call them mad, sometimes people will laugh at us, but these are small consistent efforts which will take us the long way. So you don't become Dasrath Maji in one day. It takes years of consistent efforts to become Dasrath Maji. When we talk about consistency, we have certain examples before us. The famous example which I like to share with you, the concept of 20 miles march. This concept Jim Collins has discussed in his book Great by Choice, but its legacy goes behind. In the year 1908, there were two explorers, one Roald Amundsen, he was Norwegian, and another was Dr. Scott, he was from Britain, Great Britain. And as we see, both wanted to win the race of South Pole. Both of them started almost at similar time, but there was difference in the approach adopted by both of them. Amundsen had concept of ferocious discipline. Come whatever it may be, he will cover the distance of 20 miles per day. Whether it is hurricane, whether it is snow falling, come what, despite all every adversities, he will focus on 20 miles per day. On other hand, Mr. Scott, very talented person, very admired person, came from naval background of Britain Navy. For them, okay, you will see out of the tent, okay, it is climate or atmospheric conditions are not good. Let us relax today. We'll attempt tomorrow. Tomorrow again, if something goes wrong, they will be inside the tent, and day after they may drive 50 miles. So what happens? So consistency, as far as Amundsen was concerned, ferocious discipline compelled him to undertake 20 miles per day. Usually by 2 p.m. they used to finish, but sometimes it was 5 p.m., 6 p.m. They used to travel, but come what may, the 20 miles was to cover. On the other hand, a squadron team, they will relax for some days, they will undertake 50 miles some days, and when they undertake 50 miles some days, they used to get burnout. So again another day is spoiled. So by huge margin, the team of Amundsen reached to South Pole, and unfortunate part was that the other team could not make to base ground. All of them, the entire team died on the way. So that is the concept. When we are consistent on our approach, we can achieve whatever we think, but if we are not consistent, we can see what happened to Scott and the team. Another example or repetition which is achieved by consistency, I like to share with you Jerry Ulsman from Florida University. He was a great photographer, but a professor of photography at Florida University. In his class, to his left, he divided the class into A, and to on his right, group was termed as B. The criteria for group A was that the more number of film you shoot during a particular duration, you will be judged on that basis. Say example, if you were able to shoot 100 photographs, A, 90, B, 80, C, or so on. The group B, which were right side of the group, was to be judged purely on the basis of quality of the one single photograph which they were to produce. But this was to be perfect on all aspects. When the results came, to surprise for everyone, the group A, which had produced maximum photograph among different categories, which was the quantity group, also won most of the award on quality also. Because you see, it is number of the repetition which brings you the quality. You can't get quality in single shot, even you know all the aspect of the quality, but it is just like repeating a scale. You may achieve 10, you may achieve 20, you may achieve 30, but you can't achieve 30 in one single shot. So that is what the consistent repetition brings the result, even the quantity versus quality also. So we must be consistent and repetitive if we want to achieve what we want to achieve. One more example on consistency I like to share with you is that of Mr. Ronald Finis, the oldest European to climb a mountain at the age of 65 years. This was the person who achieved the greatest feat in his life. And how it happened? Before this, he had failed twice. In first attempt, he had a heart attack. Second attempt, too much exhaustion, and he had to withdraw. When he was coming for third attempt, his wife advised him, Ronald, you take one step at a time. Don't just see the entire Everest. If you feel you can take one step at a time, take one more step. If you want to relax. If you can take one step, take one step. Keeping that thing in mind, one step at a time, one small step at a time, he was able to climb Mount Everest at the age of 65. So that is miracle of consistent efforts, small efforts, which can bring in life of every one of us. Another example or another story on consistency I like to share with you is that of Mr. Jerry Seinfeld, the great American comedian. And when he was just going for some show, another upcoming comedian, Mr. Brad Isaac, he asked him, how do you write such good jokes? Then he explained his strategy. Well, at each day, at given time, I'll sit to write, and whatever I am able to produce, I will able to produce, but I will do it certainly without failure. If I am producing bad jokes, it is fine, but I will produce it, because good joke don't come in just one go. You need to apply yourself consistently, constantly to have it. But without failure, I'll write say 10 jokes or 15 jokes or 100 jokes, whatever the target he decide for himself. And after he is done with, he used to have a huge wall calendar. He'll take that day, and that was the repetition each day that person used to have. And ultimately, he used to produce good quality jokes which people used to like. So, on the face of it, it looks like that Jerry Seinfeld is a great comedian. Of course, he is a great comedian. But how does he achieve that? These are the consistent efforts each day, at every moment, which he had decided for himself. He will produce, come what it may. And that's how people achieve the greater heights in their life. So, once we know how important consistency is in our life, what we can achieve by applying this, how many opportunities we leave due to this, but why we are not able to do it, what makes us not to do it. So most time we find the reason for what we had started. There is famous book written by Simon Sinek. He says, start with your why. So once we have some solid reasons for starting the thing which we had started, most likely our dedication and commitment will be much deeper for that purpose. So before starting, if you need to say no to many things, say no to many things. But once you have decided, you must know what you are going to do, whether that is in congruence with the long-term goals, whether that really drives us, whether we are really passionate about us. Because as you see in the case of Mr. Dasarath Maji, or Mahatma Gandhi, because they were driven by their why. What driven them? They believed in something which was bigger and better, and they believed they could achieve something beyond their capabilities. And that's how this why drives all of us. So let us know what is our why, what drives us. Then that will keep us consistent in whatever we do. Another thing which we normally find, people fail for the reason because they try to do many things at a time. We should keep it just simple, one thing at a time. People say win your battle, not battles, win your battle. So means whatever is most significant things, attempt it, commit yourself fully to it, then do it. So most likely if we try to make it too complicated in the beginning, we try to be too creative in the beginning, just start, the things will fall in place. So just try to keep it as simple as possible. There is famous quote from late Mr. Kobe: don't prioritize your schedule, schedule your priorities. What he wants to say, there will be many things on to which you need to say no, and you must know what are the things you need to prioritize, you need to focus on, and that's how we can remain inconsistent whatever we want to do. So once we know what is our why, our commitment level should be decided. That will drive our commitment. Another thing which we find most of the time, why most of us give up, because in short term we really underestimated the time will be taken to complete a thing, and we also underestimate what can be achieved over a period of time. The consistency is like marathon, it is not like a sprint that you run 100 meter or done with. No, each movement you should be able to commit yourself a longer cause. You see, the sprinter can run 100 meter, 200 meter, but after that he burns out. On the other hand, the marathon person will start slow, but he will stay on the course and start his journey and continue enjoying the journey. So consistency like marathon. In most of the things when we talk about consistency, these are small efforts every day, consistent efforts every day, which can achieve. So means we should stay committed to it. Say for example, I take a bucket of water and just pour in. Can it make any impact? No. But the same water, when it continues dropping on a mountain or any rock, it creates holes there. That is the power of consistency. Each day, each step creates that impact. I like to quote from Mr. Kavi Brand. He used to say, करत करत अभ्यास के जड़मत होत सुजान, रसरी आवत जाते सिल पर पड़त निशान. Those you have seen that when people used to draw water from the well, the rope is very soft, but when you draw water out of well, against a stone that rope will continue rubbing. The soft rope, one rope will go, second rope will come in, but ultimately you used to find mark there against the stone which has rubbed against that. So that is the power of continuous and tireless efforts which we can get in our life. You will not become Dasarath Maji in one day, you will not become Mahatma Gandhi in one day, you will not become Mother Teresa in one day. What it will take, that will be the smallest consistent efforts each day, and that should keep us driving what we can achieve by being consistent in our life. With this, I like to take your leave. Would like to listen from you, but just introspect what consistency can do for all of us. Till then, stay blessed. I like to hear from you. If you find whatever we say is useful to you, please like and subscribe. That motivates me and my team. Thank you. Stay blessed. Jai Hind.